Just setting up the live stream. Won't be long. Okay. So it's been a while since I've had the Tornado in the sim. So it's going to take me a little while probably to remember how it works. So we'll have to, but you have to bear with me while I work through the checklist for it, or procedure. So let's go and jump inside the Tornado. You can see it's a misty, cold morning here in Juneau. We're going to be flying, just before we get started, we're going to be flying, rather than do it straight line via radio, we're going to be flying low level through all of these mountainous areas all the way, because I thought that would be more fun. So it's probably going to be quite mentally taxing to do that, but we'll see how we get on. Okay, so we're going to go and click on this and then go to option 1, and we're going to toggle the external electrical power to connected. I've gone to the wrong section, haven't I? Option number 8. Oh, crikey.
Roger.
Let me just change my sound so it's coming through my headset. There we go. So that's interesting. Normally you would get a warning, so obviously they've changed some things in the Tornado by the look of it. So we might have some fun and games with this along the way. So Alt 1. Hydraulic section, instrument panel, behind the lamp. So over here, these need to go up to auto. Rapid takeoff, Alt 2. So, there we go. And then we come up here and we silence the alarm. Alt 4. And we go the air system master to on or forward. So this is where it's going to take me a while because I have forgotten most of this. Air system master to on. And the nav lights go to on. And then in the rear cockpit, oh, we got a pilot in the way. That's really interesting. So rotate the switch to TR plus G. Rear cockpit, right side. So I want on 0. And he's right in my way. So I'm looking for the UHF. There we go. Okay, this has changed. Oh, I see. They've messed the switches up on it. Okay. Not seen that happen before. And front cockpit, left side oxygen goes to on. So let's go find that. External lights on the right side, anti-collision lights go to on. APU start forward. The X drive can go to auto. generators, left and right, can go to on. Canopy! We can close the canopy. It's a bit quieter now, isn't it? Okay. So radar altimeter can go on. So we just roll the mouse wheel. Oh, I thought we did. Oh, it's this one, isn't it? The E-scope radar repeater display, which is this one, needs to go to test. It should warm up in a moment. So HUD can go to directional and that comes alive. This should come on soon, hopefully. Just keeping an eye on it. So on the right side, the TACAN rotary switch to TR. So I'm trying to remember where everything is now. Train following. IFF. Engine. Oh, there's TACAN. Engine control. TBT to datum. That's that one. IFF, which is over here somewhere. There it is. So the master goes to standby. Terrain following radar, which was over here. The master goes to standby. We're not going to be using it, but we'll leave it on standby. So instrument panel, we're going to go calibrate the altimeter. You can see it whizzing around over there. Calibrate the gyros, I think that'll be fine. So the repeater here goes to mode T. I don't think we're going to have a flight plan, so this might not come alive. We're going to start the engines. So engine start goes to, I'm going to do left first. I know people do right first, but this is actually configured on a left click to go left first. So it doesn't really matter. So left throttle to idle. So let's lift it out of shut off. Should come up all on its own. Yeah, here it comes. And the APU will shut off when it doesn't need to be running anymore. Waiting for the engine to come up. And the APU shut off. So we should be able to then come back into here, go to option 8, or if I click on the right thing, and then disconnect external power. And we can see the test signals now come up on here, which is good. Make sure wing sweep is fully forward. Okay. There we go. See, this was wrong where it was parked up. The wings would never be back with the stores on because it would tip on its tail. Or maybe that was my controls were not in the correct configuration immediately. It's a bit of a a problem with the simulator, really. Spills. Let's go and press the button. Will it work? No. Interesting. It's a spin prevention system, basically. We'll see if it will come alive a bit later. So, start the second engine. See what I mean about that? That was just a left click anywhere on it, and it went left and then right automatically. There's a bit of a weird coding going on there with it. So you can see the numbers are coming up. I haven't actually checked how much fuel it's got on board. Not enough. How much can we carry? So let's go and change the loadout of the Tornado while we're sat here. I know this is the wrong sequence, but select loadout. We just want fuel, really.
Roger.
They're a bit bigger, aren't they? So we need to extend the throttle out of idle, otherwise it won't get any fuel. There it goes. So while the engine's busy running up, we can go into the rear cockpit and get this pilot out of the way for a moment. So press the on button on the TVs. So then we're going to go to IFU1 and 2 to on. WFG switch to on. And the MC master to on. Then the Saha system. Rotate the mode to free. So that's this one here. And there's the numbers. So the INCDU, I can never get this right, the Inertial Navigator Control Display Unit section in front of the this one here. So the align knob, this is all kind of just simulated very simply, but the real thing's a bit more involved because this doesn't actually work properly. So the align knob goes to norm. The middle knob goes to IPI. And then the mode knob to nav after doing that. Oops. And then the rapid data entry, which is like a tape loader. If you had a flight plan on board, this would simulate loading the tape with your flight instructions into it. So you can rotate it to data entry, for example, and then hit start and it will simulate loading it. And when you do that, if I press the right buttons, yeah, you get data coming up in the screens. So then you could go to, say, plan mode. Yes, it's done RDE failed because I haven't got a flight plan. Yeah, that's why. So we're not going to worry about that. So pre-taxi configuration checks. This can go to repeater mode now. Not that it's got anything to show because we haven't got a flight plan. So Primary flight controls, nose wheel steering. So there's a little light under here. I'm not sure if I've got it mapped. We're about to find out. Yes, I have. So I was waiting for that to come on. So that's the nose wheel steering. I can toggle it between low and high and off. So we're going to go for low for the moment. And we can taxi out. So, cut off the part. Well, let's go and have a look at the wind first. Which runway are we taking off from? There's no wind. So we'll just double back. It's a bit cold here, isn't it? Let's see how much fuel we've actually got. Although I told the configuration for the tanks, so we can probably put a bit more in there. Yeah, now we've got the big tanks on board. Just trying to get out of the way of that fuel truck. Okay, we'll go this way. Hopefully the truck won't chase us down the ramp. Should we move the time on a bit so it's not quite so dark? Okay, let's have a look at it from outside. So, Tornado GR4. Nice looking airplane, isn't it? We ought to have some flaps. You can see the wings are just extended slightly. I think, yeah, you get leading edge slats as well. Very heavy.
knots.
Now we're out of that dark cloud. Let's move the time back a bit because I was just worried it was going to be too dark. But there we go. 9 o'clock in the morning. Fine. So we're off on our way. Zooming through the hills. So as long as we keep going roughly southeast, sorry, we should be good.
600 knots.
I'm just going to check the volume levels. So yeah, it's pretty loud in here, isn't it? Let's just turn it down a little bit so you can hear me over it. Little look at the map in a minute, see where we are. Yeah, just cutting into these valleys just to make it a bit more interesting along the way. This isn't going to take too long, about an hour. We're at full military power at the moment. But
600 knots.
we can obviously go a lot faster than this if we want to, or we'll start eating fuel.
Map 1.
supersonic there for a moment. Very desolate up here, isn't it? Obviously it'll get greener the further south we go, and with a bit of lower altitude as well. So in the live stream, someone's asking what's my favourite A380 livery. I don't really get into liveries. I don't know why. I actually like the liveries that came with it. I tend to fly most planes in their default liveries. Should we go for a little bit of altitude for a while to see what it looks like? just getting warnings because of ice.
Fuel 7000. $10,000 feet.
So
500 knots.
checking everything's okay. Yeah, the ice warning's gone away now. A lot of the switches in this have got the positions, but there's actually nothing behind them, and they freely admit in the manual. So if you wanted to practice real-world procedures, even though it doesn't simulate it, you can use the switches, you know, so you can have the practice of doing things. So should we go further into the hills? That might be a bit more fun over there.
$5,000 feet. 5,000 feet.
Urging on going supersonic. Look, there's compressibility layers building up on the aircraft. We can force it supersonic quite quickly if we go into afterburner. I'll get a bit closer to Vancouver before we start playing games with the fuel load though. What's the B risk for? Ah, right. Let's trim the sail. There we go. That's better. Whoa. Brush the trees. That's interesting. This thing really can't change direction very much when it's got its wings back at all. I've been very careful so far. I just got distracted there, but let's try it on a horizontal turn. Yeah, that's about the maximum you're going to get at this speed.
knots.
So we will be crossing over into Canadian airspace fairly shortly. We're getting near to the edge of Alaska. Yeah, if you want to go see how fast this thing will really go, let's open the burners for a bit. Now we're moving.
Mach 1.
I'm staying well away from that cloud because I can't see anything through it. Rain streaming over the front of the windshield.
500 knots. $10,000 feet.
So we're getting ice warnings again.
$15,000 feet.
So we're about to leave Alaskan airspace and enter
0.9.
Canadian airspace fairly soon. Hopefully the weather will clear up a little bit further south. Looks pretty evil down there, doesn't it? So, fuel. Looking okay.
$15,000 feet.
Where did all this cloud come from? I don't really want to descend through it unless I can see where I'm going.
15,000 feet. Fuel 5,500. Map 1.
Let's take it up to 20,000 feet.
$15,000 feet.
Approaching 20. Aha, we can see through little bits of the cloud here and there. pretty evil down there, though, doesn't it?
20,000 feet.
That's interesting. I just gave it a bit of forward elevator as it rolled to see if it would verge towards tumbling, and it will. I'm not going to do it because it would be too dangerous. We're in Canadian airspace at last. We're over British Columbia now. So if we get a gap in the cloud, we'll descend back. Yeah, so here we go. Look, the cloud is starting to break up here and there. So there are ways down through it.
20,000 feet. Mach 1. Mach 1.1. Five thousand feet.
So Ross Jackson is asking, will you continue the world tour in 2024? I'm hoping to finish this lap in 2020, so this week I'm going to be pushing to try and get a bit further, so hopefully by the end of today maybe get to New York. So I'm going to go and set an aeroplane up after doing this jump down to Vancouver. I'll leave it on running on autopilot most of the time, but I'm going to hopefully cross through the States from one side to the other. I'm not sure what aeroplane yet. We'll have to wait and see. It's about 2,000 miles, is it, across the US? Something like that. Yeah, this is dangerous. I'm climbing out of here.
Fuel 5,000.
Can't see a thing. And we're getting ice warnings.
400 knots.
So basically I have to climb to 20,000 feet just to get out of the cloud again.
0.8.
It's pretty evil down there, isn't it? I think the thing that always impresses me whenever I've seen tornadoes at air shows is how small they are. They're like a solid little lump of an airplane. They're not very big at all.
$20,000 feet.
Okay, I wonder if we took it up to altitude, how fast do you reckon we can go? If we give it a bit of a blast on the afterburner.
20,000 feet. $5,000 feet. Fuel 4,500.
So if we drop down to get some speed up.
Map 1.1.
A bit quieter now.
Mach 1.2. Mach 1.3. Mach 1.4. $25,000 feet. Mach 1.5. $20,000 feet.
That's enough of that. We'll have no fuel left otherwise.
Fuel 3,500. $15,000 feet.
Let's try and find a way where there's not so much cloud around, so we can drop down to the hills.
$10,000 feet.
Murky it is down there. Can't see anything.
Mach 1.1. $5,000 feet.
Just drop back through the sound barrier again. See the compressibility on the aeroplane. Very cool when it does that, isn't it? And we're getting nice warnings again. Yep.
15,000 feet. Mach 1.
They're kicking the water up behind us. It's great, isn't it?
.600 knots.
Quick look at the map. getting closer. Loading for fuel. Loads. Sky is slowly clearing, well, for the next few minutes at least. Have I tried the terrain following? No, I have in the past, but the problem is it doesn't work like the real thing. It only measures underneath the aircraft. It doesn't project in front of you and run any sort of algorithm to figure out what's coming. So it's a bit late usually. It works okay with, you know, flowing hills, but with any kind of sudden, like, mountainous areas, it's no good at it. Go down into this valley, go into the valley floor and skim the trees.
$5,000 feet. $10,000 feet.
Okay, triple play. I need to go and so I'm going to go and have a play with the autopilot. So if we go heading and altitude, and it doesn't do
Mach
anything.
1.
Now it does.
Mach 1.1.
How do we select altitude, or do we? That should be fine like that. If I toggle it, will it go for the height we're at? Yes, it will. 7,500 feet, that's fine. So I'm going to pull the throttles back a bit. And I'll leave us... That's very pretty, isn't it? Not when you're behind the airplane, no way. Sudden silence. Right, I need to make a phone call. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. How are we doing on the map? Let's go have a look. Honing in towards Vancouver. We are about, how far out? Let's have a look. 130 miles-ish. So if we turn slightly to the right, I'm going to take us up to 10,000 feet just to clear this cloud.
Fuel 1500.
I'm cutting the engines back as well.
10,000 feet.
Let's have a look at those fuel gauges. Yeah, it comes down quite quick, doesn't it, when you start burning at the rate we were burning it. So we've got Vancouver Island over to our right. You can see just over here. And a massive cloud bank to our left. So we may end up having to use IMS to come in to Vancouver. Let's go and have a look at the map, see what sort of direction. So we'll be coming in runway 26 by the look of it. 210 degrees, 2 knots. Yeah, probably 26 still in, yeah. 110.70 if we go for the left-hand runway. Is that the com radio or the nav? VHF, com. I'm not sure you can actually program frequencies directly in. That's com as well. Do it through here maybe. Yeah, we'll have to go visual for landing. Oh well. How are we doing on that? 478 knots at 50% throttle. That's not bad, is it? Let's just hope that Vancouver isn't completely fog-bound. Take ourselves out over the bay. At least the plane's going to be a bit lighter on fuel now. I've burnt all of that fuel coming down the coast towards Vancouver. Should be fairly straightforward. I was thinking I'm perhaps going to use, oh, I don't know, maybe the stealth bomber to fly across the US. It seems appropriate somehow. Navigate state to go through state capitals on the way across the country, or overfly state capitals, I should say. Okay, let's drop down then to a sensible altitude. Not far away from Vancouver now.
Fuel 1000.
So we'll bleed this speed off on the approach and then wind the wings back forwards. And then we should be good. Three and a half thousand feet. Just hold it there for the moment. So Monty is asking if I'm looking forward to flying the Lancaster. I think it'd be good fun, but I'm not sure when it's going to get released. Seems to have been in development for a very long time.
Fuel 900.
Just about have enough fuel to fly out past, turn back and come back in again. So we should be fine. Although saying that, the weather's not looking great, is it? And obviously we're getting fuel warnings now because we are low on fuel. I'm hoping this cloud is going to disperse. If it doesn't, we may have to divert. So we are visual. Okay, we'll just have to go in low. That's fine.
$400 knots.
haven't really got enough fuel left to go looking around Vancouver, unfortunately. And the weather doesn't really help today.
$300 knots. You are slow. $500 feet. $450 feet. $350 feet. $300 feet. $200 feet. $100 feet. $20 feet.
Presumably that's the out of fuel warning. I don't know if I can cancel it. Why have we got an alarm? There's smoke pouring out of any. Well, there's a fair bit of smoke on the tail there. Go and park over by these buildings over here out of the way. He actually accelerated into me, didn't he, that fire engine? why that's doing that. I think it's just warning because it is so low on fuel now, and you can't cancel it once it starts doing it. Potentially, I don't know. I wonder why that won't. There we go. Anyway, we'll let the warnings go off and we're going to sit outside. I don't know if the ejection seats work. I don't think they do. No, unfortunately not. Anyway, we got down in one piece. We used all the fuel up, more by luck than judgment, and we got to Vancouver. So I imagine the next flight, it's quite a neat little pattern we did there. I imagine the next flight will be going state to state across the US towards New York. I might be doing that tomorrow. We'll see. So I guess I could go later Washington, Montana, Wyoming. I'll have to pick out some things to go look at along the way. But yeah, it'd be good fun. So we'll zigzag our way over to New York, then out towards Nova Scotia, up to Greenland, Iceland, and back to England. And that'll be so by the end of the week, I would imagine I'll be able to complete the round the world trip. You would hope. Oh dear, it's been a bit of a journey, hasn't it? Right, anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you for watching on this kind of high-speed trip down through Alaska and the western seaboard of Canada. I'll see you all again soon.